Hello everyone and welcome! Hope you're all having a great evening as we embark on the second half of the Artemis Esports Championship Tier S season. My guest is arriving. I promise. I promise he's here. He's arrived. He is here.
Sorry
Yes. No, it's
bit of a delay, but I'm back, ready to commentate. Not the most exciting track to commentate, but a track nonetheless.
He's not a fan, I don't think. However, yes, plenty to get stuck into tonight, and obviously, what is of course an industry that's rather in disrepute at the moment with the latest in the cheating scandal. It's a good bit of escapism from everything that's going on over there, and we've still got a great championship fight on our hands. Paradox Sim Racing leading the way by 8 points over Nexus Racing. Loveland, as a manager of Nexus Racing, it's a big night tonight. You feel like with the 7th week in a row you've gone unchanged in the Artemis Esports Championship. You can come away with the championship leading team tonight.
I'm hoping so, of course. I mean, this isn't our best track, not our strongest track, and obviously PSR have brought Wilson along, so a lot of competition on the grid tonight. But yeah, we've got the same lineup, you know, the familiar lineup of Levi and Rusty. We don't really have much choice. I know everyone likes to have a joke about it, but that's what you're getting, so you got to deal with it. And I think Rusty can put on a good show tonight. Paces look pretty good in practice. Just got to hook it up all in the race, and as I say that, he has invalidated his first run. So, yeah.
Yeah, Rusty been known for invalidating his first runs this week, but he still can pull it out of the bag when it matters. FG Velai out there, winners of the Punctuality Award this evening. So well done to FGE for getting in the lobby early, which is what we like to see. Joe Murphy will be the next one around then for BRT, still up in P3 ahead of giants in the community, Visceral Racing. It's been a brilliant season, and they've not, you know, even with what you could say was a poor result in Austria, they still came away with 28 points, even a penalty at one point, but I feel like that might have been appealed. I don't quite know the ins and outs of all of that, but Joe Murphy into the penultimate corner, turn 13, running right to that pit entry line, which you're allowed to do. It's dotted, so you can cross it in any form. Levi was up first, so I apologise for getting him wrong, but Joe Murphy blitzes that lap time by a good couple of tenths to start another promising week for BRT.
Yeah, very strong showing there on the initial laps from Joe Murphy, 15.3. As you said, they had a pretty poor week by their current standards this season in Austria, but the team they are closest to in the championship, VSR, had an even worse week, if I remember correctly. Egger got an unfair penalty as Allison goes into P1 for TV8. That's a great lap as well, 15.2. Levi in P3, not quite on the pace of the two drivers, and Allison's teammate goes into P4 with a 15.9. PSR Kai now slots into P4 with a 15.6, so it's looking like we could have a bit of an unusual pole if it carries on like this. Egger goes into P3, Valet goes into P7. There's a bit of field spread from first to 10th as Wilson goes P2. So Allison setting the early pace. That's a bit of a surprise. No offence to Allison, but good to see Team Valor up there.
Is this a sign of things to come? He stated on Twitter that this is his last race with no force feedback and broken pedals as well, which he's been tinkering with for about 1.5 years. So Team Valor, if Allison can get a good result here this evening, they will know that there is still a lot more to come from him. Carsey, who won in WR Tier 3 around this track, he's P2 in the championship, P1 in the Constructors' Championship with his BRT teammate of, I believe, Furious, crosses the line in P6, 3 tenths off pole so far. I am liking the look of this grid.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I think Rusty invalidating is quite a big blow for us as a team. We got 2 PSR cars in the mix, 2 BRT cars. Axe is on the lap, so he's going to try and get in the mix with his teammate Egger. So really need Rusty to get a good lap on at the moment. We've got, what, 4, 5 teams in the top 5? That's exactly what you want to see. That's what you get with AEC. It's a bit of a toss-up every week. And yeah, exciting to see. But Axe is now into the final sector, does a 54.2 split. That's not amazing if my sector time knowledge serves me correctly, but I could be proved wrong. Comes around the penultimate corner, and now the final long right-hander. Got to get as close to the apex as he can, and he does very nicely. Get the power down early as possible. Comes to the line. He has gone P8, so he is there or thereabouts.
Absolutely. VSRX, I believe it's a Tier S debut for him this season, in the second half of the season that we're now in. Harv is, I think he's on his way back into the pit lane, so I believe that just leaves Patrick Leger on an outlap at the moment. So our first runs are pretty much complete. I'm rather enticed by the grid. I know I've already said that, but yeah, this is a session you want to get your friends tuning into. So make sure you hit that follow button, and I hope there's no adverts that are going to pop up this evening.
Yes, hopefully that's fixed.
Yeah, I was just playing around with that, but it shouldn't really do anything to disrupt the stream this evening. Patrick Leger then we'll ride on board with him, because it looks like he'll be the first and only driver on a flying lap in just a moment. Maybe you might want to take us away for this one.
Oh yeah, I haven't done much revision. I've been at work all day, but I will try my best to commentate this lap. Patrick Leger, currently P20, going out much later, getting in a nice bit of clean track, and here we go, starting the lap. Not the longest of runs down to turn 1. You don't see much overtaking here in the race, and you're going to have to brake around the 70-meter mark if you can, and he does very nicely. Maybe brakes a bit too much, doesn't carry too much minimum speed, but gets the power down nicely. Now coming down to the long left-hander that never seems to end. How does he take it? Goes as close to the curb as he dares and gets the power down. Not using all of the track, as we'll probably see the top drivers doing. But what is his first sector split? We're looking for a low 27. It's a 27.2, very respectable from Patrick. Bit cautious on entry, but he's got the car hooked up pretty nicely, it seems. Gets on the exit curb, and now you've got to fling it into the chicane. Don't get on the big sausage curbs, because that will unsettle the car massively. But he's done it very nicely, using all the available track, as you should. Flings it on the left, flings it through the right, power down. Looking like a pretty clean lap so far. Now you've got to fling it right once again. Very tricky section to get nailed, and it's a 54.2. He's on pace with Axe at the moment, so could get himself into the top 10. And now coming through the final sector, another long left-hander. These left-handers never ever seem to end. Bit of an ache on the drivers that are on wheel. And now another long right to finish the lap. Power down. Where will Patrick go? Into the top 10 maybe? P11. Not far off.
Close indeed. I believe Rusty is out there for an early lap as well. In fact, it might be Levi out there first, but he's well off the track. Coming through turn number 10, that is. So Levi may well abort this one, quickly moving out of the way to make sure he doesn't impede anyone. We've had many episodes of impeding across the Artemis Esports Championship and wider community in the last few weeks as well. Optical round of the final corner. He's about to start a lap. Leon Hardman does the same for the TAR duo. Shizu Maris, I think that's agonised. Then still several outlaps at the moment. It's an absolute nightmare figuring out who is where. FG Valai also one of those starting a flying lap, and then I think that's Levi to come and cross the line, but I think all eyes should be on this man, Rusty, through turn 6 and 7 as his Williams bottoms out over that exit curb. Bit of a technical section coming up flat out through the left. How much commitment through the right? Just a complete downshift. A complete lift off there, but remained in 6th gear into the 90-degree right of turn 11 before you go back up the hill, and that is a 5-place grid penalty for VSR Axe, and that looks like something's happened on the exit of turn 13. Wasn't quite in shot, but you can maybe guess what was happening around the final corner, and NRX Rusty goes back to where he belongs, the championship leader who leads us away by 37 points, taking provisional pole.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant lap by Rusty. And in the process of that, I think Axe got a penalty. He was trying to back up to let Rusty through and possibly blocked Agonized. And it's given him a 5-second penalty, which, to be honest, is quite unfair. They're both on outlaps. Might be a restart. I'm not sure what the ruling is on the whole grid place unfair penalty thing. But yeah, a bit unfair of a penalty from VSR, and their bad luck seems to continue at the moment in AEC. So we'll see what the stewards or owners decide to do about a restart. But very good lap from Rusty, P1.
Absolutely. Wilson half a tenth up at the moment. Cars either side of him, threading the needle in between them. Still almost a tenth up at the moment. So this could be a lap time to challenge NRX Rusty at the top. And boy, do PSR need it. That gap has been shrinking in the last couple of weeks. And how they would love a pole and maybe even a win this evening. Around the final corner, crosses the line, goes Wilson. 100th of a second quicker than TVA Allison, who likewise is also improving at the moment. You lose a lot of battery around here on a flying lap. He's almost right at the limit of deployment. That's wide. That's going to be invalid in what was a purple sector 2.
Yeah, unlucky from Allison. He was just up in sector 1, but didn't quite get the lap together. Axe on the lap, trying to improve from P10. Going to have to fling it through this very tricky section. Flings it through the right, uses all the track. This is where Allison invalidated, but Axe is much more cautious. He knows it's a difficult corner to get right. Now getting all the power down. What's the split? It's a 53.8. That is competitive. That is 4 attempts up on his current time. So he's going to be right in the mix of the top 5 here. Maybe even the top 3 if he can have a good final sector. So going to try traction, go get the traction perfect, which he does. And now you've just got to fling it in, hope the car sticks, no oversteer, get the power down, use all the track on the exit. It's going to be a 1:15.219. P2 for Axe.
And I'll tell you what, that's a shame. Because he does have a 5-place grid penalty. It is going to be the question of a restart. And it's ironic because before the race, Axe was stating that he needs to go and pick his sister, what the hell, sister up at 3:25 local time, which is 8:25 UK time. So he wants to avoid a restart at all costs. But if it means his sister is stranded, he's got pace. So be it. Game's the game.
Yes. Well, that is very true. I don't know what to say to that, Joseph. Got me speechless. Yeah, that is ironic, isn't it? But so Axe is a net P7. We don't know what the restart situation is, but if there is a restart, he will be P2, and he'll be praying to the Lords that it's a quick restart. We don't want anything like World. We don't want to be sitting here for 30 minutes, you know. So Axe has got places to be, people to see, and yeah, he really wants that restart, I assume.
Yeah, it's a win-lose situation, unfortunately.
Yes. PSR Kai went into P6, by the way, when we were discussing Axe's personal life. So PSR Kai into P6, Maris improved to P16, so still quite far down for Shazoo standards. We've got no one on laps at the moment, to my knowledge, so time for Joseph to just fill the gaps.
Fill the gaps. The official AEC account saying it's only fair that we don't have a restart because other races we didn't do it, which I think is fair enough.
Ooh, that is fair enough. You want to stay consistent.
It's the trade-off between the disruption for all 20 drivers than 5 places for one. Of course, if it continues to happen after the session, which is likely when the checkered flag has fell, sorry, then we could be talking of a restart. AMS Optical out there at the moment, and boy, look at his lap time. 29.353 at the moment. He's 14 seconds off the pace. I think he might improve. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just reading the TRS chat. As you could probably predict, there's quite a lot going on. VSR want to restart. Couple people saying NRX didn't get a restart at Silverstone, which is very true, actually. I didn't even think about that, but that is true. So if you want to be consistent, then it's not a restart. But Naif's point is that there's not a rule against it, which is also a good point. So yeah, the politics are out and we're not even in the race. So let's just get back to quali and see who's going to stick it on pole.
general elections aside, AMS Optical's got work to do. 20th and last at the moment by a significant margin. He'll be the first one around there. Then I think we've got a couple of Alfa Romeos following, so that'll be the BRT duo to keep a really good lookout for, as one of their P3 in the championship rivals in Axe does take that 5-place grid penalty as it stands. Traffic yielding into the first corner, which is always a good sign. Early on the power, down the hill through turn 1A, apparently, and into turn 2 then. Sorry about that, I'm still working with a dodgy part-time mic while I make an eBay order, so that'll be done in due course.
You sound beautiful.
7 seconds up at the moment. I'll hold it a bit closer so we're getting nice and close to the microphone in this in these dying stages of qualifying. No, I'm joking. I wouldn't put you through that. Into turn 8, through turn 9, flat out turn 10 still to come, and he's had a fairly clean run considering he's running slightly out of sync with the rest of the pack. What's his middle sector split looking like? He's 11.1 seconds up on that 14-second target he needs for pole position. So with just 2 more corners to go, then if those 3 in front get a move on, he'll be getting through with ease. And that looks like a Williams yielding at the last moment. That might compromise his run out of the final corner, and Optical to cross the line then, and he goes P15, so he's well off the bottom. Next up, I believe it is one of the BRT cars. Joe Murphy a 10th up, Carsey a 10th up, so both BRT drivers looking to make inroads here, closer to that provisional pole time set by Rusty at the moment. Carsey rounded the final corner then, what can he do? Goes 7th, which is a really solid attempt on AEC Tier S debut. Joe Murphy to cross the line. Oh, yes. A 15.190 for Joe Murphy.
Yeah, great lap from Joe into P2 with a 1:15.1, which is a very, very strong time. I've just gone aboard with Levi, who's a 10th up, but a 10th is only going to move him up to 8th. He's going to need a monster final sector if he wants to get in the mix with the top of the field. Oh, very close there to hitting the back of the Alpine, but he gets out the way perfectly. And now coming through the final corner, he uses all the track on exit, didn't invalidate. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 15.3, and that's only P6. He's going to be right in the thick of it when it comes to the race. Ogween's retired in the pits, I think. PSR Kai on the lap, PSR Wilson on the lap. And he doesn't improve. Well, he does improve, sorry. Goes P2, but 1:15.183.
Yeah, he looked a bit gutted at the end of it, even weaving his McLaren down the start-finish straight. So close, yet so far to NRX Rusty, who continues to set the standard. A 1:15.013, almost breaking in to those 1-minute 14s in qualifying. Who's going to be next? VSRX, well off the track. Allison, who went so well in the early phases of qualifying, has dropped it on the exit of turn 4, so his lap will not count. PSR Kai needs a big lap here to get 2 PSR McLarens up against that single NRX car in Rusty. Round the final corner comes PSR Kai, and he crosses the line and does beat Levi, which could be significant enough as it is.
Yep. So we've got NRX ahead of PSR on the front row, and then for 6th and 7th, PSR ahead of NRX. So the championship is looking like 2 separate 1v1s throughout this race, with a bit of BRT, VSR and Velour mixed in the middle. So it's looking like a very, very jumbled up grid. Allison will be fuming. He will be kicking himself. He was a 10th up in Sector 1 alone, flung it in too early and just lost the rear and spun. But considering that was Allison's banker, to my knowledge, I think he'll be pretty happy with P5.
Indeed. And that brings us to the end of qualifying. VSRX, Allison and Levi making their way back in. Is range still going? It looks like he might be just pushing it to the line. He might as well. But it's a lap time that's long gone. Unfortunately, hitting the wall for good measure. As far as I'm aware, there's no update on the restart situation other than he's going to have to put up with it. So Axe will drop down to 9th, promoting teammate Egger up to 8th, and everybody else behind Axe up 1. So Allison will get a second row start, and like I mentioned earlier, 1.5 years of anguish coming to an end for him.
Yep, sorry, just reading the chat again, and just absolute carnage, Joseph. I don't know if you've had a look yourself, but
I'm looking
it's
now.
absolute chaos. VSR, I'm very unhappy. Everyone's saying no restart. VSR obviously want a restart. It's going crazy. And yeah, we're just sitting in our rooms commentating on all this carnage. It's great to see.
Yeah, I often consider it a bit of escapism from, like I mentioned earlier, the wider issue in league racing and esports. But here we are, still debating. But yeah, confirmation of that 5th-place grid penalty for Axe. Our qualifying order is as stands. NRX Rusty, your championship leader, takes pole position, joined by Wilson on the front row. Joe Murphy for the 3rd-place team in BRT starts 3rd. VSR Axe in 4th, he'll drop to 9th. Allison in 5th. Kai 6th, Levi 7th. Carsey in P8, followed by Egger, Rain, Ogween, Race Roller, Harv Maris. I'm gonna miss out here. There you go. I've scrolled down a bit.
Use your eyes, guys. Come on.
Use your eyes. I don't have to tell you.
Oh, Joe Murphy P3 though. That is a very, very strong showing from the BRT driver. Your screen says the session's starting in 1 second. Ah, okay, it's gone.
Yep.
Looks a bit overcast. Whoa. Can we have some rain? Ooh.
The Brits
I could do some rain.
The Brits amongst the live chat will know all about today's weather events. It would be great if we could avoid that.
I have been told it's a dry race, so
that's good.
Remove any excitement you had.
No snow forecast then.
No, no, we're not in England, unfortunately. Well, mate, fortunately, actually, I don't want to be in England. But yeah, very mixed up grid, very exciting race ahead of us. I'm not sure when we're readying up. I believe that is your call.
Oh, is it my call?
I don't know.
Oh Lord.
Joseph will ping you to let you know when to ready up. Will he?
Roughly 1 minute. Oh, JT's doing it. I see JT doing it.
He's given up with you. He's given up.
I did forget about that.
It's very poor from you, Joseph. Come on. Ready up,
Joseph. Straight in.
Oh. Yeah, I like that. No waiting around.
Joe Murphy
loves a bit of snow. No, Ben, I see what you're doing there. I love the snowfall, yes. Winter is the best time of year. That's what I'll say.
It's nearly the middle of March. It shouldn't be winter, but
absolutely freezing. Oh, we've got all the T-posing mechanics, by the way. Just a quick observation. Going off of last week.
What
the Mercedes
are they doing?
I think they've got more than last week. If an upgrade.
Red Bull have got 3. Mercedes have got 3. Ferrari have definitely got 3. I thought it was 2 last week.
Yeah, they're growing in numbers. By the end of the season, they'll have the whole team out there. So keep your eyes peeled, everyone.
Wow.
I guess no one wanted to ready up, though.
Oh, here we are.
So, okay, well, yeah, that's happened.
Joe Murphy can go 2nd in the championship with a win this evening. And that sounds pretty good for BRT. So there's a little bit on the line. I'm sure they're perfectly happy to come away as they are. Plenty of stories as we approach the 7th round of the second half of the season in the Artemis Esports Championship.
Yep, here we go. You want me to call the start because you've given me the time, so I guess I'm going to have to now. It's 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights ahead of the drivers. Will we get a delay? Let's hope not. Oh, we have. But they're underway. Rusty gets a pretty good start, but Wilson gets slightly better traction. Allison's had a monster start up to P3 ahead of Joe Murphy. Kai and Levi going 3 wide with Joe Murphy into turn 1. Who is that sitting up the inside? Wilson goes for the move. He barges Rusty. They make contact. Allison's into P3. Levi's into P3. What a start for NRX. P1, P3. Can Wilson hang it around the outside? He's pushed all the way off the track. And Levi comes out of nowhere. Can he take the lead? He's going to slide to P2. And it's an NRX 1-2 from Joe Murphy, P3, Wilson, P4, and Allison in P5.
Retirements as Valet and Optical getting into a little bit of carnage. A virtual safety car has been deployed to neutralise the race. Goodness me, where did Levi come from? Absolutely out of nowhere, and just as it was 1 week ago when you joined us, Loveland, it is an NRX 1-2. Wow.
I'm going to obviously try my best to remain unbiased, but yeah, bit of a barge from Rusty at turn 2, but Wilson did barge him at turn 1, so you've got to say I'd say that's 1-1 there. It's
1-0.
not the best racing we've seen, but both cars did make contact with each other at their respective corners. So, yeah. What a start. Levi into P2. And any other notable drop? I'll tell you what, Joseph. Shazoo Maris, where has he come from? I'm trying to see the position change. He's from P14 into P7. What a start from Maris. He's going to be absolutely chuffed. And we are getting underway. Green flag racing. Who's got a good restart?
Kai!
Like the front three are away clean, but Kai looking on Allison. He's burning that ERS. He knows now is the time. You're not going to get a better opportunity than this. He sends it. Does he get it turned in? Yes, he does. And oh, he's lost the rear. Allison, can he keep it pinned? Yes, he can. And Kai is going to have to settle for P6 unless he does an outrageous move around the outside. Oh, my God. Does he do an outrageous move around the outside? Allison gives him the room. They're going to make contact. No, they're not. It's so close. Shazoo Maris is licking his lips behind. But Kai settles for P6. Uses a bit of his battery in the pro. Kids, he going to send it? Oh, my goodness. This is unbelievable. But take over, Joseph. I'm losing my mind.
What is going on? If you could get Carsey back in, that would be great. Because I need to cover some of this. Actually, he's back in. Apologies for that. But, wow. Kai into turn 5 of all corners, making the move. He has lost that 1 second on his teammate Wilson, but I'm sure he can start to compromise. But Joe Murphy is the obstacle PSR need to clear if they don't want to avoid what happened last week, where they were 3rd and 4th to a PSR, an NRX 1-2. I'm all over the place. This evening, Axon noticeable faller down into P12, having started P9 after a really good qualifying. That's Carsey. Drivers going around the outside of him as he fights his way back into the session. Rusty still leading the way then, as I believe Carsey is now back into the session. I'm not sure we're going to get much better overtaking than that at the Hungary ring.
I don't think we are. Joe Murphy is looking quite keen to make an overtake though on Levi, but it'll be very tricky because Rusty, NRX, we can play these games. Rusty can just hold Levi in the DRS. So he's going to have that edge of the straight line speed. Kai is pushing with everything he's got to try and get back into the DRS. And the battling up front has meant that Kai is now within a second. So we have a DRS train from P1 down to P17. That's what you love to see, isn't it? A big old DRS train.
Yep. And everyone on hards. Woohoo!
Yep. We love it.
Yeah, strategy might get a bit boring. We'll see if there's any undercuts about lap 10. Maybe a 2-stop. No, of course there isn't.
Let's hope for something different.
Of course there isn't.
Because at the moment, it's looking like a big old train. And no one really within striking distance. DRS will be enabled now. Wilson may be looking for a move on Joe Murphy. He's going to burn the battery, but Joe Murphy sees it coming. He burns a bit himself. And this is what we're talking about. You're just not going to make any inroads on the car ahead. So you're going to need a mega launch out of one of these corners to really get a good run. And can Wilson do that? He can, but not good enough. And he's just going to have to settle into the race. Eggar maybe looking for a move on Ogween, but no. Just looking like a lot of failed overtakes. Because we're not going to see many.
Yeah, the closest we got there was hard. He tried to go. Oh, Maris! That's a big spin.
Oh, no.
And it looks like he's dropped it on his own coming out of turn number 3. So easy to do. Just take a little bit too much curb. Even just use the battery. Anything to unsettle the rear of his Haas. He's around at turn 3. But I was going to say that Harv was trying around the outside at the final corner. And Patrick Leger just unfortunately they came to terms. No repeat of last week and incidents involving Harv. Which were initially penalised. But I don't think that one's worthy of a penalty either.
Yeah. If you remember back to last week, Joseph, there was a bit of a curse where I complimented a driver and they made a mistake and spun. Don't want to say this curse is still a thing, but I did say Maris has had a great start and he's doing really well, and then he's crashed. And I also said that about Liam Bowman last week, and I also said it about who was that? Sasha Andre, if you remember. And they all ended up crashing after I complimented them. So there's a bit of a curse. Eggar, by the way, is looking for a move on Ogween. He's got DRS. He's burning absolutely everything. He's going to fake to the inside. He sends Ogween very deep. Can he get it? He's going to get more traction, though, with that wider line. He's going to have to lift off, though, through the right. Egger has a massive snap, and that's going to ruin his run up the hill, and he's going to have to settle in for P8. Yeah, just a notable, just a note on SLR as well, and P9 and P10 from, I believe, P12 and P18. So picking up the pieces from the cons you've had at the start.
Elite Risks showing what he is capable of. What a start he has had, and that VSR Egger slide just proving that these guys are really on the edge of what's possible with setups. They don't want to be a sitting duck in a straight line, but they need enough downforce to be able to take those corners flat, to be able to ride the pretty unforgiving curbs around the Hungaroring. We're 14 kilometres outside of the capital of Budapest, but the crowds are flocked in their numbers, and indeed 50s in the Twitch live chat. You've been treated to an absolute treat of a start, and long may this continue, as VSR Egger might well have another go, but still a bit of silence on the racing front.
Yeah, Allison needs to be careful. He backed off quite a lot in the final sector to give Ogwin DRS, and he did. But Egger now going for the move. He's going to burn all that battery. He's got more than Ogwin. Sends it down the inside. Very, very fair racing. But he's going to squeeze him just enough on the curb. He's going to cut him off. It's great. It's beautiful. It's a lovely overtake for P7. Egger once again showing his consistent racecraft. And yeah, up one position. Great start from Egger.
A boy that is only getting better, I have to say. VSR Egger advances up into P7. His task now to try and get into the DRS of Allison, splitting the two Team Valo drivers who sit 5th in the championship. VSR obviously up in 4th, but a good 83 points separating them at the moment. Still every single position still up for grabs in the Artemis Esports Championship. We're on lap 6 of 55. Wow, that would be a long race. 35. Rusty still leading us, and NRX 1-2.
Yeah, still got a big DRS train. We're not down to P17 though, we're down to P16, so give it 30 minutes, we might have a DRS train from the top 10, who knows. But Egger made a big mistake in the penultimate corner, lost the rear, lost a bit of time to Ogwin, but neither driver really has the battery to fight. And just looking at the batteries, looking like the NRX and PSR drivers looking very strong on the battery front. Joe Murphy, also a notable, he's got over half his battery, so very strong from him as well. But yeah, once Egger's made this move, I don't think we're going to see any more for a while. So the race is going to settle down quite a lot now. And looking like Wilson maybe will be the one to try and make a move on Joe.
Is Brett Norman in the chat? Will he take any bets?
Oh, we do need a bit of Brett 365. I would bet on no more overtakes this race. Free money. No, I'm joking. There'll be one. I hope.
Race Roller. It looks like he's starting to split this up in the midfield. A little bit of battery on the exit of turn 11, taking him to 11%. Will it be enough? As Elite Risks as well. He wouldn't want to lose it to his teammate. All of a sudden, the SLRT duo becoming very vulnerable in it. Looks like we might see another AlphaTauri on the up. It's VSR Axe, who initially qualified 4th. Suddenly down in P11 through very little fault of his own. Will he have a go into the first corner, perhaps being patient and seeing where the SLRT guys stack up in terms of battery, because at the moment Axe on the upper hand.
Yeah, problem is though, every lap he stays behind these two. Race Roller has lost the DRS, so he's going to be dropping back tenths after tenths every corner. You can see already he's lost, I think he's 2.5 seconds behind Ogwin, which is the leading train. So once Axe gets past these, he's going to be really fighting for a P9. It's going to be very hard to get into that front train. But we know Axe, he's a very quick driver, and I'm sure he can cook up a bit of a masterpiece, but needs to get through these two Aston Mines first.
Looks good in the middle sector, the most technical part of the circuit. Good exits, but just no way through around what is described as Monaco without the barriers. Through turn number 10 then. Oh, he's almost hit him. That was late on the brakes. Just Axe showing just how much confidence he has in the car, but he's just not able to do anything with it so far. Can he get himself around the outside? Maybe try and prioritise the exit to have a run here at Elite Risks, who doesn't have any DRS, so this should be the easiest move you see of the evening. Great overspeed from VSRX, and he's up into the top 10.
Yeah, Patrick only just behind these two. Maybe he'll look for a move. Oh, he's had a bit of a snap. Unfortunate for Patrick. Got a bit more battery than the SLR driver ahead as we got a yellow flag. That is AMS Optical. He's not really in the fight for, well, anything. No offense to him. So don't need to worry about that. No safety car, no VSC. He gets on with his day. But Axe now into P10, going to be hunting down that other Aston Martin of Race Roller, who, to be fair to him, hasn't lost too much time to the cars ahead. So if Axe gets him on this next lap, he's definitely got potential to catch Ogween, who seems to be struggling a bit with his pace.
Absolutely. Yeah, Optical, it looks like he's just turned up for a day out in Budapest, to be honest, because I don't really think anything has gone right. No, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a shame to see TIR, a new team in the tournament, as Ogween runs wide again. He's really fighting to get in the DRS, and I don't think he's going to be able to. He's going to need a really good exit. Oh, it's so close. I don't think he's going to get it. Axe is going to be licking his lips now, because if he overtakes Race Roller, he's going to catch up right to Ogween, who is burning every single millimetre of fucking... I just don't know what I swore. Look, it's been a long day. All right? I'm absolutely knackered. Yeah, F's in the chat for swearing, but yeah, I don't know. I'm losing my mind, Joseph.
I'm quoting that. Every single millimetre of fucking.
I don't know where that was going.
Oh my word! I've
lost my head.
This is peak commentary. This is what you all came for.
Oh, make it a quote, honestly. Just note on FRT as well. They actually had quite a poor qualifying. I didn't even pick up on it really, but they're P13 and P14. I believe they're in a fight for P6 with Valor last time I checked. So I think they'll be hoping for a bit more, but it's going to be very hard to get up the field, judging off the current gaps and current lack of overtaking. So yeah, they're going to need a bit of a miracle, but miracles do happen. So we'll wait and see.
And we've got a yellow flag, and it looks like Carsey, sadly, who disconnected, was taken out early on in this race, and after a really good qualifying for the WR Tier 3 winner around this circuit, he's now down to P18, and you're right, FRT 24 points behind Team Valor in the team standings, and Valor 6th and 8th at the moment, continuing their resurgence. We've seen an overtake which I've missed.
Patrick Ledger.
I can't believe I've missed an overtake. I completely missed
that as well. We are the worst duo ever. I was looking at the gap, but I didn't think to go, yeah, there goes Harv. I was just letting you talk. And yeah, Harv has got past Patrick Ledger into P12, but he's going to have to hunt down Elite Risks, who, in all fairness, doesn't have the battery to really fight. So Harv, I believe on the pad, someone will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think pad favours Hungary quite a lot. It's a bit of a... We used to, back in my day, when I used to race. So I think Harv will be looking to gain pretty quickly and get in that DRS train ahead. Loveland, a.k.a. George Morgan with these comms. Yeah, right. No, that was an odd quote. We'll ignore that. By the way, Joseph, Allison has lost DRS to the cars ahead, so we could see Egger get the next Alpine down this straight.
Let's go then, Egger. On board with you. No pressure. DRS open imminently. You might fancy it into turn 2 and stay behind, but he's flashing. Disco right at the back of that Alpine. Down the inside goes Egger. He is not hanging around. And up he goes into P6, and simultaneously up goes Axe into P9. Visceral Racing beginning a little bit of a comeback in this race. Race Roller dispatched. Allison dispatched. And all of a sudden, as the skies get ever brighter here in Hungary, as does Visceral Racing's race.
VSR really giving us the entertainment tonight. Egger up into P6. Axe back to where he started after that poor start. Not quite sure what happened to him. But making the inroads now on Ogween. He has 80% more battery than the Alpine ahead. So he's going to... I mean, he's not even using it. He's happy to just keep plodding along and drive at his pace without using any battery. And he's going to save it for the overtaking when that does come. So the VSR, after a bit of a shaky start to the race, they're really looking in a good position come the end of the race. So good stuff from them. But it's the usual candidates in the top 9, you'd have to say. We've got NRX, BRT, PSR, VSR, and Team Velour. And not much happening up front. We've got a bit of a... Oh, is that someone going wide? No, that is a Mercedes completely throwing me off and scaring the life out of me. So, yeah. But, yeah. Everyone seems to be saving battery up front.
I tell you
check
what.
the batteries for yourself, but wow.
Egger is flying. A fastest lap of that time around, helped with his... I think he had a double dose of DRS. Because there's no... detection point into turn 1, so he gets the second helping in towards turn 2, and he's almost into the DRS of the top 5. So Egger really now becoming one to watch in this race. AMS Optical becomes our second retirement from this race for Total Impact Racing. Still monitoring the progress of Egger. 2/10 now, he's lost it. He's got to make this middle sector count because his low battery status.
Yeah, I was about to mention, this lap is absolutely crucial for Egger because this is going to make or break if he can get into the top mix, because he has 8%, the car ahead has 60%, all the cars ahead have a lot more battery. Egger needs to have the lap of his life, but he's not quite there. He's burning every single bit of energy he has. He knows that he has to get into that 1 second mark, and he's just on the outside. He's got in, and he just needs to have an amazing penultimate corner. Can he get the traction down? He's done it, and now he is in the fight for the win. He's in that top 6 battle. He can recharge his energy behind these cars. What a race from Egger, I have to say. He is showing his form at the moment. Unbelievable.
He's dropped Allison and got into the DRS of Kai on the very same lap. Wow. And the adrenaline rush that must give to a driver, knowing, right, I'm in this now. I'm here to fight. Up against 3 teams, the top 3 teams in the championship, no less. This is a huge moment for VSR Egger. Nanethex saying what a driver Egger is. They've got themselves a wonder kid.
Yeah, they have. A very young driver. Seems to deal with pressure situations really well. I haven't really seen him make many mistakes in the races I've watched of him. Maybe I can recall one, but that's about it. Really deals with the pressure good. Lives for these moments. And he must be on cloud 9 right now. He's seeing these PSR drivers ahead of him thinking, yeah, I'll have a go. Because he is flying at the moment. He's getting within 6/10 now. Got no battery. He's still burning out of some corners. So he's not even trying to save. He's just going for the positions. And I absolutely rate it. So fair play. And while I was waffling, I believe Agonized actually had a spin at turn 2. So Shazoo have had 2 spins from 2 of their their 2 drivers this race. Not a great showing from Shazoo tonight. But Egger, the man on the move.
Indeed, and again, DRS once again for the German as he chases down, what, 5 Brits?
Yeah, that's right, actually. Brexit means Brexit, guys. We've come to Hungary, and Britain seem to have just conquered the track at the moment. Yeah, 5 Brits. 2 Northerners up top. Not sure about the others, if they're Northern or Southern, but the Northern duo P1 and 2.
I don't know. Maybe we should inquire in the post-race interviews.
Maybe we should.
Yeah.
That is great information going into next race.
Yeah, we know.
Are you North or are you South?
Rusty,
that brings a whole new rivalry into the race.
Yeah.
Yes. And we settle down once again.
Feels like a David Attenborough documentary all of a sudden.
That's what I went for. I'm glad you got that vibe. And here we see VSR Egger coming through the final sector. Not much going on at the top. Gets the traction down very nicely. And we have a pitter! David Attenborough has left the commentary box and PSR Kai is into the pit lane. He's going to trigger the undercut and NRX almost have to react. I'm not sure how strong the undercut round here is, to be honest. Great manager, I know. But yeah, PSR Kai needs to have a good stop. No one in the pit lane to hold him up. Onto the mediums. Going to be a hefty stint on the mediums, but PSR committing to the undercut. They're coming out in clean air. Let's keep an eye on the leaders.
20 laps on mediums. What is Oliver Crisp cooking?
He's cooking something.
He's cooking something. And he's already got a move to make, Kaz PSR Kai. Straight around the outside of Liam Harmon, but he'll have cold tyres. Just be careful into turn 2, but huge undercut attempt here. Maybe to get Wilson back up there into the frame. Do they prioritise the win just to limit the damage? This could get really interesting as our third retirement of the race is Shizu agonised.
Yeah, BRT Kiwi in chat saying undercut is massive here, I believe. Ooh. So Kai definitely going for that massive undercut. And let's see if any of the top 5 pit, because it would be quite brave to try and get these tyres to the end. But Levi's going, Joe Murphy is going. If the tyres don't make it to the end, Kai has absolutely sacrificed himself for the greater good. So Levi and Joe Murphy and Egger into the pits. Rusty and Wilson stay out.
I like this. I was talking about a boring one-stop, but 20 lap stints on the medium tyres is not what I had in my script. I script these races, by the way.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, Kai.
Here we go. On Kai. Here we go. This is big.
The outside.
This is big. And the traction will come into his favour because he's got 1 lap warmer tyres, and Joe Murphy has to settle for what is now a net P4. PSR Kai did everything he needed to, triggered those in front of him to respond to that undercut. He's gained a position as a result, and he's going strongly from here.
And what this actually benefits PSR from both driver standpoints, because Kai, if he needs to, can hold up Joe Murphy a bit, make sure that he doesn't jump Wilson. And we could see it just as we saw last week, being NRX 1-2 and a PSR 3-4. Wow, I nearly ruined my 4 times tables, whatever it's called. But Rusty into the pits, Wilson into the pits. We saw how powerful the undercut was for Kai. He's all over the back of Levi. Let's see how strong it's going to be compared to Rusty and Wilson. So yeah, take it away, Joseph.
Absolutely. Into his Williams pit box comes NRX Rusty, an iconic pit box. Remember back to 2021 where George Russell emerged in the lead somehow. He had to give those places back, of course, but Rusty will have to hold on to them. Out comes Levi then, and he filters back in P2. Wilson coming out of the pits behind Joe Murphy. So PSR have got a car into the net top 3. Not as much change as we perhaps would have anticipated. Egger has lost out ever so slightly. But PSR, I think, is the biggest talking point of that one.
Yeah, PSR, they've actually not changed. Oh, no, they have, sorry. So I believe they were 4-5. And that was Wilson in P4, Kai in P5. Wilson is now net P5 and Kai is into net P3. So they've kind of sacrificed Wilson a bit in hope that Kai gets up the positions. So he has done that very nicely. Egger actually lost DRS because of Kai pitting early. So he's been, you'd have to say, unfairly shafted here. And Wilson has also lost DRS to this train, which could actually be crucial for the rest of this race.
Absolutely, and you have to say the 2 PSR drivers are not fighting for the Drivers' Championship by any stretch of the imagination, so just prioritising any sort of point scoring for the team is much more important at the moment. Joe Murphy, though, is getting a move on. He looks racy coming out of the final corner, a little bit of battery deployment to go with it, but Kai responds. He's down to just 3%, keeping Levi on his toes, but nothing doing into the first corner, as it looks like Egger is almost back into the DRS of Wilson, who in turn has lost DRS to Joe Murphy.
Yeah, Wilson's going to start pushing though. He's got 40% of battery in reserve to try and catch up to the train ahead. Egger not quite on the same level when it comes to energy, so he's going to really struggle for this lap. But if he can get into the DRS, that would be crucial. I think we see 2 drivers, Axe and Rain, going for quite an outlandish strategy, hopefully hoping for a safety car, which I think we see Axe do quite a lot. He does like to wait for a safety car, so fair play. But let's hope VSR don't throw away Axe's good work, because it's been a very strong race from him to get up back to P9.
I like this. Tactical, strategic, and the moves have got to be daring if they do come off. NRX, net 1-2 with Rusty from Levi. Rusty going for what is his 4th win of the season. His other 2 coming in China.
Is that true?
yeah, there's other three,
Wow.
sorry, coming in China, Spain, and Austria. A fastest lap then for Rusty.
Yep. I think the race is just settling down once again. Allison going for a move on Liam Hardman. Let's not miss this because we need to see these overtakes. Allison, pretty simple move. Typical Hungary pass, just down the straight, easy as you like. It's actually, just a note, I don't know if Ogwin went for an undercut, but he's somehow ahead of Allison by quite a big margin. So fair play to Ogwin. He undercut by 1 lap and he's gained 2 seconds. So fair play. Valor in P9 and 10, or a net P7 and 8, which would be another strong, consistent result for Team Valor. Obviously picking up a penalty with Allison last week for a reason I do not know. But yes, Rusty has now caught rain, by the way. So let's hope. I was going to make a pun, but I made a terrible one last week, so I'll refrain.
Well, it looks fairly dry, but rain might want to splash this race with
I like
excitement. Oh, he pits. You boring bastard. You
I don't like
boring
that.
bastard.
Well, actually, I do. Because
Rusty gets
I'll
DRS.
take that, but oh, he does. This actually might hurt NRX because Levi is going to have to burn a bit just to stay in the DRS of Rusty, but it seems like he's lifting off very early. So quite happy to just pull Levi along. And 14 more laps of this, I assume.
Out comes Axe. Hit stop for Axe as well, and he slots back in P9,
Oh, wow.
right up against Ogwin.
What a stint! Yeah, that's an unbelievable overcut. I don't think he was near them cars when I last checked. So
He'll get a good
Axe
couple
has gone
seconds
long.
to catch, I think.
Yeah, and he's got the fresh tyres. He's got the full battery nearly. It's Axe time.
His sister still needs picking up in half an hour, by the way.
That's why he's driving so fast.
Got to get
That's
this
why
race
he's so
done.
quick. He needs to get his sister picked up. Axe is a man on a mission. He's got places to be, people to see, and he's chasing down them Alpines to get 7th and 8th.
Fresher tyres as well, and people in the chat saying tyre wear, bit less of a concern. I'll be honest, I wouldn't really know too much about tyre wear, particularly at Hungary. But he can go for it now.
Ben has just informed us he was on the back of them when they pit.
Still had to catch
But
them.
it sounded cool, what we
Yeah.
said. Yeah, exactly. Made for a nice little segue, as Kenzie says, Loveland. That was utterly beautiful. Thank you very much, my friend. Wilson, looking for a move.
Oh,
Don't know
hello,
if you're on
hello.
board, but you should be.
should
Wilson
be.
is right up the back of Joe Murphy. He's burnt everything down that straight, and he's forced Joe Murphy to burn everything. So they're both flashing, and the 3 cars ahead, they don't really have much battery either. So we're really getting to the stage of the race where the battery is just non-existent, and it's all about how the driver performs against the other drivers. And Wilson is a man on a charge. He's looking to get into P4.
He is indeed. Hungary doesn't eat the tyres. Straight face.
Oh, God.
I'll
That's
tell you
actually
what,
good.
fair play.
I'll give you that.
No, it's not me. It wasn't me. I don't take any
No,
credit for that joke.
I'm saying that to you, Bella Fox. Not
Oh, right.
Joseph. Everyone knows me and Joseph are terrible at puns.
Fair play, actually. Fair play. Wilson, giving it everything. Even out of corners you wouldn't expect to usually burn. Just every single millisecond he can catch up to the back of Joe Murphy. Could make a possible overtake 1,000 times easier, literally. Round the final corner comes Wilson, and Joe Murphy has got a pretty good exit as well, and he's also on the battery in a similar ERS state to Wilson, who is looking to make this PSR 3-4 for the second week in a row.
Joseph, just keep an eye on that gap between P2 and P3, because that is getting worryingly close to going out of DRS. Kai is going to have a great lap here, because Rusty and Levi, they must have put the burners on or something, because they are trying to drop this train. They know Wilson's trying to get up, and they want to get them out of DRS. So aggressive strategy here from NRX to see if it pays off.
I think they've got to, just to give them that security. They know PSR Kai will have to do a little bit more saving on those medium tyres. Remember, this is a 20-lap stint attempt. They made the undercut work in the short term, but in the long term, is it going to pay off? Still 12 laps to go when we cross the line, and that gap hovering at about 1.000 seconds momentarily. This is about as close as it comes when it comes to staying in the DRS train. Penultimate corner then, the DRS detection zone on your track map in the bottom right. Passing it now. Oh, Levi. Oh, Levi.
He hasn't got the DRS on Rusty, and that is a big turn of events. We've gone from... Yeah, Rusty's actually backed off, so good strategy from my boys. But it looked like they were going to drop out, and Levi now making a lot of mistakes. And it's a bit clumsy. He could have dropped PSR there, but not going too well. And we've got an incident.
It's an overtake. Actually. I think it was Axe trying to make a move, but Allison did well to hold on. This one will stall for the foreseeable future. Well, it's nice to see Axe try to take on two Team Valor drivers at the moment. Eggers cleared them by 5.3 seconds as his progress has also just sort of stalled, but up against this fiercely competitive top 5, I'm not sure there's too much you can do at the moment. But Wilson still trying to overtake Joe Murphy. Kai quite fortunate to get back into the DRS of Levi. It looked over for a moment, but he's going to have another chance to keep looking after those tyres, trying to charge a little bit of battery where possible, because NRX's state doesn't look much better at all.
Yeah, a lot of all the drivers up the top are struggling with ERS. I think there was actually maybe contact between Act and Allison, because after... down the run to turn 3, Allison weaved, maybe to say sorry or to say what the hell was that. Not sure what one, but there was definitely something going on there. But yeah, Levi not breaking away from Kai, and that's going to hurt him for the rest of this race because he's got no battery to play with. But he's still burning, so he thinks dropping Kai is possible. Wilson also can't make a move. Here goes Axe. We're finally getting the overtake.
Around the outside, the long way round at turn number 1, which turns into the inside. For turn number 2, VSR Axe has got it done the hard way, but he gets it done in style, and into turn 2, he's up into P8 with Ogween just 3/10 up the road. And also, unlike
Wilson,
Allison and Wilson, down the inside, is he at turn number 6? Not quite. I was going to say, unlike Allison, Ogween in a lot better state of battery, but I think Wilson did the right thing, backing out at a difficult turn 6.
Yeah, sorry for butting in, but I thought he was going to lunge it up the inside of the chicane, which would have been fireworks or a great move. No in between. It's either a beautiful overtake or it's a collision, and he sensibly backs out. Very smart driver is Wilson. Been around a long time. Very, very strong. And Axe is going to be trying to set up that move for Ogween, but as you said, he's got a lot of battery in reserve, so it's going to have to all be down to traction. Axe on 3-lap younger mediums, which you have to say at Hungary, which I believe is not too nice on the tyres. Looking like it's going to be a traction battle. Can he get a good exit down the straight?
Absolutely. Axe going for it again here, and I think that DRS is going to be the deciding factor here. Axe pulls to the inside this time just to try and cover him off on the inside, and he's going to have to prevent the switchback as well, but the traction far superior than TVA Ogween, and in the space of 2 laps, 1 VSR driver overtakes 2 Team Valor drivers, and all of a sudden, looking forward now, not back, Team Valor, both Visceral Racing drivers in front of them. Well, a long way in the championship, and now on the racetrack as well.
Yep, both VSR drivers making up 2 positions from their starting grid. Axe really making up for that 5-place grid penalty, which I'm sure will be a bit of a talking point throughout tonight. And any incidents, of course, that happened. But Axe is trying to drop Ogween. Ogween didn't actually try and defend from Axe. He didn't use any battery. And now he's just going to have to try and save. But look at the pace Axe has got. He looks so confident out there. And Ogween can't match him. He actually nails that corner quite nicely. But he's going to have to get it right at the penultimate corner to make sure he stays in that DRS. And he's very close. Axe has got unbelievable traction on them fresh mediums. And it looks like Axe is just going to drop away. If it's not this lap, it's going to be next. So Axe, once again, looking very strong. VSR's race pace, looking very nice.
Absolutely. And it looks like Rain has just got past Patrick Leger as well. Patrick on 10-lap old medium tyres. In that similar sort of management phase that the likes of Kai, Levi and Joe Murphy are all in out front. losing the position to Rain on 6-lap old medium tyres. So a similar sort of thing to the old green axe, traction, superiority, yeah, whatever. Request a fact from Kirby. And there's a bit of football chat going on. And while we've got a bit of a break in the race, on this day in 2020...
I'm sorry, Joseph. Hold that fact. Axe has just spun around.
Forget it.
Every time I compliment someone, they spin.
Forget it.
I give up. I give up. Axe, every time I seem to compliment someone, the next lap they have a mistake. This is the 4th driver in a row. I don't get it. But Axe, he's round in P9, and what a shame. He was doing so well. And I'm going to throw it over because I was actually quite interested to hear that fact. So please take it away.
Request a fact is now suspended due to cursing drivers. That's a shame.
Oh, that fact would have been great. You were building it up, you had a big smile on your face, and I had to butt in. I'm so sorry.
Oh well.
The game is the game. Well. Needed a bit of chaos. It's
Just
gone
a bit.
now.
But it does
Can
mean...
you compliment the following people, please? Kai, Joe Murphy, Wilson, Egger, Ogween, Allison, Axe, Race Roller.
It's basically saying compliment the top 10 so they all spin.
I see. I was like, hold on. What? I'll give it time. Give it some time. There's actually points for top 14 Quibborder, so you are in the point. Not plural. But, yeah. Any battles, Joseph?
I'm just waiting. I might squeeze that fact in again. But I'll wait until after the first corner. We'll see if anything spicy happens, because Wilson's charged up a little bit more than Joe Murphy, and he deploys on the exit of the final corner, and Joe Murphy is starting to flash away. Wilson will soon join him, but he's got to make the move now or never to damage limitation in this race, and again they trail to an NRX 1-2, but PSR Wilson still finds no way around Joe Murphy, who's really held his own as the sole BRT driver up towards the front.
Yeah, Wilson trying to go around the outside, but doesn't have the grip to do so. But he's going to try and get a run up the hill, and not really possible to make a move there. But yeah, PSR maybe getting a bit frustrated. They know they can get a 3-4, but Joe Murphy is putting in such a consistent drive. So he's always up there. And P4 once again currently for Joe Murphy, who's just been driving so well. Yeah, great season and great race from Joe Murphy, and it's really frustrating Wilson by the looks of it.
Yeah, and he charged up his battery to around 25%, and all of a sudden it's back to square one. He's got to recharge it to try and make the move again. It's a never-ending cycle because of how difficult it is to overtake around Hungary. Will he try again? It feels like these laps are coming around very quickly. So,
yes.
Time is running out in the race. 6 laps to go when Rusty crosses the line to complete the 29th lap of 35, not 55. And Wilson, no chance. Down the start-finish straight. Time is running out.
Time is running out for this fact as well, Joseph. NRX Finn saying, where is this fact? The people want to hear the facts, Joseph. Come on.
Well, it's ironic because it's about Aston Villa.
Oh, but block your ears, Finn.
On this day in 2020, Aston Villa lost 4-0 to Leicester, and that was the last game before COVID lockdown. There you go, there's your fact.
Oh, wow. That's actually quite a cool fact.
There you go.
Quite crazy to think it's been 3 years, actually. I said this to someone earlier. Time is flying. Wexro saying Joe Murphy is so good, so expect him to have PSR in front of his name within a week. But very consistent drive. Joseph, he is unbelievable. I didn't actually mean to say Joseph there, but you're welcome. Not much going on. I think we've had 5 on-track overtakes, which maybe more than I expected, to be honest. But yeah.
I've got another fact. I've got another one because we've had a second
double whammy.
request of fact. And it's not good news for NRX Rusty, because in every year from 2005 to 2017, the winner of the Hungarian Grand Prix didn't win the championship. So, unlucky, pal. Wave bye-bye.
Yep. As long as we win the constructors, I'm a happy boy. We've got another request to fact, Joseph.
I'm
We've got
running
another,
out. I'm
we've got
running
two
out,
facts.
guys.
He's not a machine.
Just
Bloody
printing
hell.
facts.
I'll give you. I'll take this
Go on,
next
then.
fact. You just commentate. I'll find a fact. So you just
Race Roller's
commentate
made
what's
a
going
move
on.
and we've bloody missed it. What a practice. Here we go.
What are we
Race
doing?
Roller around the outside at turn 2. FRT Rain tucks in late there and stays behind the SLRT driver, holding on for this top 10 finish, which after their really strong start, it looks like they're about to convert in some very valuable points for SLRT, who currently sit 7th in the championship on 41 points. FRT, who they're currently outscoring at the moment. Oh, it might be level, actually. 15 points. 25 points up ahead. That is their little P6 battle going on.
Yeah. Race Roller struggling, by the way. P10, rain all over the back of him. Going to quickly get my fact in. The Eiffel Tower can be 15 centimetres taller during the summer. There's a fun fact for you. Don't ask me why, but that's what Google says. Anyway, FRT Rain coming through the final corner now. That's the set up the move nicely coming down the straight. On board with Kai.
I thought he was going for it. I thought he was going for it. It got close. And then I realised where he was. Shizu Maris having...
someone who's also getting close. Sorry, Rain going for the move. He's going to switch to the inside, go to the outside. Is he going to go for the switchback? Yes, but it's covered off nicely by Race Roller. And we've got a move from Harvin Elite Risks battling away.
And Patrick Leger might have thought about a double switchback there, but he stays behind to let these two duel it out. Rain still trying to go around the outside. It will turn into the inside for 3. And has he got the run into 4? Feels like that Aston Martin will be a little bit too wide for him, but Patrick Leger has actually cleared half. So the man who was going for tried to hold on to P12 in this race, suddenly in P14 and with a penalty as well. So Patrick Leger is going to make up a couple of positions here. And we've got a retirement. It's Maris. It's in the pit lane. It looks like we'll be safety car free here in Hungary.
Yeah, I think we will. There's a lot to dissect right now. We've got small gaps at the front between Joe Murphy and the PSR guys. Someone who we haven't actually realised, VSR Axe, after that spin, he's back up to 9th. And he's right on the back of the Alpines. But Wilson looks like he's going to go for a move on Joe Murphy. He's so close. He sent it. It's a late lunge. Doesn't quite get it in. But he's going to have to get the power down. He's on the younger tyres. Burns every bit of battery. PSR Kai trying to block off. But in that doing so, he might lose the DRS to NRX. But they just want this 3-4. It's damage limitation at the moment for PSR. And they can't get the move done. Where's Rain? Rain goes from unbelievable distances back. It's a bit of wheel banging, but it's an unbelievable send. And he gets the traction down, burning everything he's got. Race Roller with a bit more in hand. And he's going to fling it round the outside. Can he keep it pinned? You bet he can. They're going to go side by side down the right. It's great battling. And now they're going to go up the hill side by side. Can Rain hold it round the outside, or will Race Roller keep the position? He's going to switch back. Oh my goodness. This could be one of the best moves we've seen in the season. Can he hold on? Can he hold on? They're still side by side.
Go on, son! Around the outside! He's done it! He's done it! Oh, my words! FRT Rain! Oh, yes!
Wow.
That is racing!
What a move.
That is fucking racing! Oh, yes. Sorry, I quite enjoyed that.
That was incredible. And Joe Murphy has got past PSR high.
What's happened?
Made a mistake at the final corner, and Joe Murphy's at a P3. What is going on?
What on earth? He's contact as Wilson touches him. Joe Murphy suddenly into 3rd. I don't quite know what's happened because Rain has just given us the overtake of the blimmin' season. 2 laps to go in this race. PSR 3rd and 5th. Now 4th and 5th. NRX getting away from them in the team's championship. They'll take the lead after this evening as it stands. Rain is on it again with Race Roller. Still wheel to wheel on the penultimate lap. What on earth is going on at the Hungaroring? Down the inside goes Rain. Race Roller might try a switchback, but he fends it off nicely, does the FRT driver.
Yeah, I can't even catch my breath. Axe is all over the back of Allison as well, but Team Velour have 2 drivers to battle with. Crucially, Joseph, Joe Murphy has lost the DRS to the cars ahead. Wilson is right up behind him, and he's going to be wanting to make a move into either turn 1 or turn 2. This is incredible. The race has had absolutely nothing, and it's all come alive at the end. Do you want to commentate through the last lap? Take us away. Wilson,
I'd love
for
to.
P3.
I'd love to, as he slides his way out of turn 13.
Oh.
Joe Murphy slides his way out of turn 14. And all of a sudden, PSR Wilson might fancy his chances at the podium. He looked well out of it. Joe Murphy almost performing the Michael Schumacher move into the first corner, where Wilson goes down the inside. He nudges Joe Murphy wide. And that looks to be it, as he won't have the DRS to get back into him. Into turn number 2, he rides that inside curb. That looks unsettling. PSR Kai, though, a long way back. He triggered the undercut in this race from P5. He's now back to P5. So in the long term, it's really not paid off for PSR at the moment, but Wilson might have done enough to clinch the podium. FRT Rain and Race Roller, they've calmed down a little bit. If you're only just tuning into the final lap this evening, go back and watch that move. That was some of the finest racing you will see on this game. But it looks like NRX Rusty, for the 4th time this season, may well be a race winner. And that Hungary curse might stand, but it looks like he is impossible to beat at the moment. His championship lead will be as much as 67 points as he exits the final corner now. We've had a half spin for Carsey, but Rusty has conquered yet again, and Joe Murphy's lost it. What's going on? What's going on? Is it a puncture?
Is that a fuel?
Is that a fuel? Oh my word.
Joseph. I'm speechless.
Joe.
What an unbelievable race, all undone in the final corner of the race. You cannot script it. You just can't. And PSR, after looking like that 3-4 damage limitation wasn't going to come through, they've been given a lifeline. 3-4, Wilson P3 with a great move, and Kai getting P4. Joe Murphy in the chat saying he was +1 on fuel at the start and he's still run out. That is such a shame.
That's
Driver of the day, FRT Rain.
Cars.
Yeah, I would agree with FRT Rain actually, just for that move alone. That was incredible. Incredible.
Hang it in the Louvre.
Well, if you started watching this race from lap 30, it's probably one of the best races you've ever seen. It's great.
The Christmas wreath is back out again. It's tradition at this
It
point.
is. Oh. Wow.
I tell you what, Williams Esports must be looking at this and going, we've got quite good publicity in P1 and P2 for the 2nd week running.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's just mental. I feel so bad for Joe Murphy.
I suggest you stick around for some interviews because Rusty wanted one last week. I think it is time that he has one. Well, we'll invite Levi as well.
Joseph, do you remember the curse? I did say a lot about nice things about Joe Murphy, and it seems once again a driver I compliment has tumbled. So I will. I'm going to stop talking about drivers. I'll be talking about politics from now on.
Oh, I'm out of breath.
I am. That was unbelievable. Oh.
Here's just a quick glance at our race results. 4 DNFs. No safety cars, which arguably was a good thing. I don't think we really needed one.
No. We made the action ourselves. It was great. Great racing at the end.
Absolutely. Right, let's take some interviews, because I did promise some before the race. It's an NRX 1-2. We've got 3 NRX members in this Xbox party. It might get a little bit biased, but if you're staying around for the after-stream chat, I don't blame you.
I won't be biased. I won't be biased.
Do you want to start us off?
You start. Go on.
Do I start? Okay.
Yes.
Levi, I sort of feel bad for you. I sort of feel bad for you because you're P2 2 weeks in a row. Is that not stressful, having to be the buffer between Rusty and literally everybody else?
It's a bit of a nightmare at times, I can't lie, but you know, I'm not here for the drivers' championship. I'm here for the team. So me and Matthew are just going to be working to give every race. So Yeah, it's stressful when you've got people like Kai on the back of your gearbox pushing every lap. Because there was times where the gap was getting 2 or 3 temps, and I was getting a bit nervous, but the lap fresher tyres helped us through that middle sector and last sector definitely.
Yeah, I believe you move up into P3 in the Drivers' Championship. Of course, you've raced every round. It must be a long season for you, but what's your ambition like in terms of, just clinching a good result for yourself?
Um, I'll, I'll be lying if I said I didn't want a win this season. I do want to win. I've got a couple of podiums over the last few weeks, so now I want the top set. But like I said, if Matthew's ahead of me, then I'm not going to do anything that's going to jeopardise a 1-2 for the team like that. So yeah, like I said, I'm here for the team result. That's it.
Absolutely. Gaffer, any questions for your second place man?
Well, Levi, on 1 hour practice today once again, being left behind late at work, looking a bit, struggling a bit in practice, but you seem to have the confidence and consistency in the race. So, what would you say changed between the practice lobbies and the race itself?
Um, I I got a lot of confidence after the first 2 corners when I went from P6 to P2. It was literally like Ocon last year. I just parted the season. Ended up P2 after the first sector. And then from there it was sort of just settling in. I saw Kai pitted early, so Magician, our engineer, was straight on the radio, shall we say, saying Levi boxed his lap to cover that off, and it worked. If I would have stayed out an extra lap, then they probably would have got me. But yeah, it was pretty much, apart from fastest lap, pretty much the perfect race for us.
Perfect.
Rusty,
You have any
let's move on.
questions for our leader?
Absolutely, I do. As promised, a race-winning interview. Your 4th win of the season. You probably weren't listening in on the commentary, but one of our facts was that for 12 years in a row, the Hungarian Grand Prix winner never won the championship. Does that bother you at all?
I don't really care, to be honest. I'll, obviously, I'm still going to go for drivers. Obviously, I want to win the team championship the most, but I mean, a win to win. Calendar's long still, so there's plenty more races to pick up more points.
Yeah, speaking of long calendars, we move on to Spa next time around. I'm sure it's a track that you say you're probably really rubbish at, but in reality, you're going to win again, aren't you?
I can't say what will happen, but I do like the track. That's all I can say. I've had a good result there on Monday actually, so it's nice to get that good result there.
Lovely. Loveland?
Yeah. So obviously, prior to last week, I'm sure both of you here know, NRX were on a bit of a slump. A lot of poor races, not going our way, lots of incidents, collisions, all this stuff. But I believe, Matthew, you've won the last 3 team events we've entered. So I just want to ask, what has changed since the downfall, you could say, of our team?
Well, yeah, before the last 3 races, as you said, it wasn't looking good. I had a moment myself where I went a bit too far and I shouldn't have, and it wasn't right. I've felt myself like we need to pick something up, and myself, I need to pick up the performances. And I said we need to not go for the moves where just because it's get more points, we just want more points to build that confidence. And I think that's what everyone in the team right now is doing, and we're getting closer and closer to being top of the championships in different tournaments.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better. Sounds amazing.
Well, it's
That's
been a
all I got,
special...
Joseph.
Yeah, it's been a special turnaround for you guys. Our new championship leaders in the Artemis Esports Championship. I think that's just going to about wrap us up. We're back in 1 week for the Belgian Grand Prix, which will mark the end of our second stint, if you like, this season. Another break week to come after that one. But yeah, it's very make or break. I feel like we've said this for weeks on end, but PSR just won't go away. Another 3-4 in response to an NRX 1-2. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.